Why is it that the higher your level of awareness is, the more you need to learn to stay silent? Because arguing with low awareness people is the dumbest and lowest level thing you can do. The typical mindset of low awareness groups is that they only want to live in their own world. They only believe what they want to believe. You present facts and reason with them, talk until your mouth goes dry. Yet they refuse to listen and only know how to argue back. It's not that what you're saying is wrong. It's that your levels of awareness aren't even on the same plane. You stand on the mountaintop, admiring how beautiful the view is, while they stand at the foot of the mountain, only seeing the barren land in front of them. Even if you argue until sunrise, you still won't reach a conclusion. Instead, you'll only drain your own energy. The more you argue, the more emotional you become, until you're too angry to sleep, while they continue eating and drinking as usual, completely unaffected. At that point, have you ever asked yourself, is it really that what we're saying is wrong? Or is it simply not worth wasting words at all? So today, let's talk about why people with higher awareness understand the wisdom of staying silent. My friend Xiaolin is a typical top student type of girl. She works in internet operations in a first-tier city, has stable income, and lives a pretty enjoyable life. But every time she goes back to her hometown, she ends up arguing fiercely with her relatives. At a family gathering, her aunt grabbed her hand and said, "What's the point of a girl earning so much money? You should hurry up and marry someone with good conditions. Being well married is better than being successful." My friend immediately got upset and replied, "What era are we living in now? Female independence is what matters most. I can support myself. Why do I have to rely on marriage to realize my value?" Unexpectedly, that sentence instantly ignited a war. Several relatives surrounded her and started talking over each other. "You've studied so much you've become foolish. When you're old and nobody takes care of you, you'll regret it. A woman eventually has to return to family life. Don't be too stubborn. We're saying this for your own good. Why can't you listen?" You see, Xiaolin argued logically. From women's career development to freedom in marriage. She talked for over half an hour until her mouth went dry. But not only were her relatives unconvinced, they instead felt she had become arrogant and refused advice. That night, she tossed and turned, unable to sleep, feeling both wronged and angry. The next day she was exhausted and had no energy left for work. So you see, this is the scariest part about arguing with low awareness people. You think you're discussing logic, while they're operating on emotion. You want to show them a broader world, but they're trapped inside their tiny circle, and even accuse you of being abnormal. In the end, the logic goes nowhere, but your own energy gets completely drained. That's why this kind of meaningless internal exhaustion is the dumbest and lowest level form of self-consumption. So why are low awareness people always so impossible to reason with? Behind this actually lies a psychological concept called the need for cognitive closure. Simply put, people naturally seek definite answers, especially those with lower cognitive levels. They need certainty to feel safe. To them, the world is black or white. Opinions are either right or wrong. Once they encounter something beyond their understanding, their instinct is to reject and argue against it. Because admitting they don't know something, or accepting an entirely new perspective, would disrupt their inner balance. It's like a frog at the bottom of a well. It spends its whole life inside the well, so the sky it sees is only as big as the opening above. So it firmly believes the sky is only that small. When you stand at the edge of the well and tell it the sky is actually endless, it won't think its own perspective is limited. Instead, it'll think you're lying and bragging, because your words exceed the boundaries of its understanding and destroy the certainty it depends on to survive. Low awareness people are the same. They only want to live in the world they're familiar with. They only believe what they want to believe. You tell them child-free couples can still live happily, but all they hear is, of all forms of unfilial behavior, having no descendants is the worst. You tell them reading broadens the mind, but they only believe making money is what truly matters. You analyze the harm of marriage pressure, and they immediately say, "I'm only doing this for your own good." It's not that your logic is unclear, nor that your evidence is insufficient. It's that your levels of awareness aren't even on the same level. One person stands on the mountaintop, the other squats at the foot of the mountain. The scenery they see is destined to be worlds apart. I also once had a follower leave me a comment saying he fell out with a friend over whether reading books is useful. He came from an ordinary family, worked hard through studying, got into a prestigious university, and later joined a major company as a planner. Although he didn't become extremely wealthy, he lived a respectable life, and his worldview had broadened significantly. His childhood friend dropped out after middle school to work. He had worked as a waiter, set up street stalls, and now owned a small restaurant. His income was actually a bit higher. One day while chatting, he advised his friend to read more books when possible. Even reading industry-related knowledge could help improve the restaurant business. His friend instantly became furious. What's the use of reading? I barely studied. And I still make money. You studied so much. Yet you don't earn that much more than me. Don't talk to me about those useless abstract things. Doing real work is more practical. At the time, he felt extremely wronged. He wanted to explain that reading isn't about making money immediately, but about improving awareness and preparing for future uncertainty. But before he could finish, his friend interrupted him. Give me a break. You've been brainwashed by books. After that argument, they barely contacted each other for a long time. He stayed depressed for days, wondering how such good friends could suddenly become unable to communicate. But in reality, this is the gap created by differences in awareness. You stand on a higher level, seeing long-term value in possibility. Meanwhile, low awareness people can only see immediate uncertainty. Arguing with them is like arguing with a 3-year-old child about why candy cannot be a staple food. What you say is correct, but they simply can't understand it. Instead, they cry and throw tantrums because you won't let them eat candy. In the end, you win the argument, but lose your peace of mind. You can't convince them, yet you become trapped by their negative emotions and fall into endless internal exhaustion. At this point, some people may ask, does that mean when low awareness people argue with us, we can only swallow our anger silently? Of course not. Staying silent is not surrender, nor is it weakness. It is a clear-minded form of self-protection. It means not wasting your energy on people and things that aren't worth it. Truly smart people never confront situations like this head-on. Instead, they respond more flexibly. For example, you can first acknowledge them. What you're saying makes sense, but everyone makes different choices. As long as you feel comfortable with your own life, that's enough. One sentence instantly ends the conversation. It neither escalates the conflict nor forces you to wrong yourself. You need to understand. Meaningless arguments are a waste of time. Their awareness stops where it is. No matter how much you say, they still won't understand. Rather than wasting time arguing, it's better to save your words and improve yourself instead. You see, this is the wisdom of high awareness people. They don't obsess over verbal victories in the moment. They understand how to weigh costs and benefits and place their energy on things with greater value. When facing arguments from low awareness people, there are many ways to stay silent. Silence doesn't always mean saying absolutely nothing. For example, when relatives pressure you to get married, you don't need to lecture them about freedom in marriage. You can simply smile and say, "Thank you for your concern. I know what I'm doing." When friends try to provoke arguments, you don't need to rush to refute them. Just nod and say, you have your perspective. Then change the topic. If the other person goes too far, then simply stay silent completely and let your attitude tell them, "I don't want to argue with you." These approaches give the other person a way out, while also protecting your own emotions. Actually, the reason we argue with low awareness people is often because we feel unwilling. We're unwilling to have our opinions unrecognized, unwilling to be misunderstood. But you must understand, the gap in awareness has never been something that arguments can close. Just like you can never wake someone who is pretending to sleep, you can never convince someone who refuses to accept new things. Rather than wasting time entangled with them, it's better to focus on improving yourself. As you read more books, travel farther, and meet more people, your level of awareness will naturally rise higher and higher, and the gap between you and them will grow larger and larger. At that point, not only will they fail to catch up to your pace, they won't even qualify to argue with you anymore. So the greatest weakness people have is caring too much about how others see them. Many times, the reason we fall into exhausting arguments is because we care too much about others' opinions and desperately want to prove we are right. But in reality, your value never needs to be proven through other people's approval, and whether you are right or wrong doesn't need to be confirmed through arguments. The true sign of maturity is learning how to filter the people and things around you. Only open your heart to those who are worth it. Only invest your energy into meaningful things. I want to ask everyone, have you ever experienced internal exhaustion after arguing with low awareness people? And how did you escape from it? Did you fight to the end? Or choose silence instead? Feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Let's learn and grow together. Learn to stay silent. Protect your energy. Don't let low awareness people consume you. Remember this in life. Your time is valuable. Your energy is precious. Don't waste them on people and things that aren't worth it. Starting today, be a clear-minded person with higher awareness. Don't argue. Don't get entangled. Don't fall into internal exhaustion. Focus on improving yourself and become the person you truly want to be.